Hello, everybody. It is so good to see you today. Happy Father's Day to all the wonderful fathers out there. And as I always say, if you've ever loved a child, then you are a father or a mother. And that's just wonderful. I don't think there's anything more noble than loving a child. So I am so glad to be here. And I was determined not to come late, even though my wonderful daughter stopped by and um, to see Mark and wish him a happy Father's Day. So that was really, really nice. All right. And I wanted to tell you this because I like doing public service announcements. But if your hair is getting thin and it's hard for you to curl, get some Remington. I love them. They're a flocked roller. Okay. In fact, I've got one down here to show you. And it's like a velvet. They're wonderful. The ones that I used to have were just like a hard plastic. And they've gotten more brittle, I guess, with age. But my hair's gotten thin. And I had a hard time trying to roll my hair and have it stay. And I thought maybe it was the clips, but it's the fact that the surface didn't keep um didn't hold on to the hair. And with it being thinner, it was tougher. So, anyway, I just wanted to that light is not right. I'm going to try putting in a different light bulb. But anyway, but I just wanted to tell you if your hair is getting a little thinner, look for a flocked like a velvet body curler, and it's really made my life so easy because I curl my hair every time I do a show, and it was getting very frustrating to have the curlers fall out and just not do a good job. So I'm very happy. I've used them now the third time, and it was great. So, okay, I just like passing on news because you know what? It gets hard getting older, and any help that we can give each other to any good hints, I think is a good thing. So I'm getting ready to change out my thread because I want to do some sewing today. And let me check with, okay. So this week, I told you Thursday, I think, or was it last weekend? I forget. But the backyard, all of my backyard plants got planted. Let me see if I can get this light bulb out. Put a new one in. Pardon me if I stand up to get it. But we got the backyard plants done. Then during the week, I did the front porch plants. And then I also went out and did um, I know this is rude to do while I'm talking to y'all, but I need a good light. And I was having problems with that one. Now let me see if this will do any better. Huh? Maybe so. So, yeah, I think that is better. This one was too bright, and it's one of the old incandescents. And it was hard to get used to the new LEDs, but once you do, changing light bulbs is a thing of the past. I hardly ever do it, and that's the nice part about the new LED lights. So, change is hard, but it can be very good. So, and hopefully with as time goes, the price will come down. You know how that always does. So, oh, let me get this done. But so all of the plants outside that I needed to plant are done, and I've started trying to clean up the house and get it ready. You know how over the winter cobwebs, all that. So the outside, I mean, the cobwebs. And so that's a pain. I did something fun this week because I've also been trying to clean the house because a lot of stuff went undone while we were prepping for the wedding. So, remember all the flowers? My daughter went to a flower farmer near her and got a bunch of flowers, wedding flowers for the lake house together. It was wonderful. And I came home with 3 full vases of them. And what I did is I let them dry in I let them dry in the vase because I read one time that was the perfect way. Like people want to save hydrangeas. Well, let them dry while they're sitting in the water of the vase. Now, the water gets a little icky, but that's okay because they will go ahead and just dry pretty nicely. Sometimes people try to take them out of the water and dry them, but often the petals can get mushy and start to rot. Not a good thing. So I let them all dry in the vases and then I took them in and took all of the petals off. Now, they don't hold, not most of them don't hold the color. There are some blue and purple ones in here who've done really well. But some of these, like these, those were big yellow daylilies. And then of course the peonies and the roses held their color pretty good. So once they were all dry, I have put them in a bag and it's nice. It would be nice to have a keepsake for, for the wedding. In fact, you know what I'm doing right now? Let me show you another thing I'm going to do to really preserve these. Oops, come back up this way. All right. All right. So what I'm going to do is just lay the bag down like this and carefully get it zipped to right up to the last minute. Get it zipped, push all of the air out that I can, finish zipping it, and now look at that. See how flat that is? Now they should store without much change, but never store them in a bright area because they will fade. And what am I going to use them for? I can't get that camera worth anything. I apologize. So, what I'm going to save them for is the summer. I'm going to make homemade paper. So, these flowers will be worked into the pulp. And that way, then when I pour them through the sifter, there'll be flowers in the paper. And that would be a lovely way to save it. Now, I could take a small frame and glue the flowers, take the petals and make reconstituted flowers, I guess you call it. But I think these would be wonderful. And some people like doing resin work. So it's a great way to preserve your flowers. And I wanted to show you that. All right. So then yesterday, I cleaned the whole house. My crick is getting better. I found it's not technically a crick. I pulled a muscle when I was working out planting hanging baskets. Just doing that motion hurts. I was reaching and lifting heavy hanging baskets and pulled the muscle, but it's getting much better. Also, wanted to tell Denise that I looked up about my finger and I never knew you could have gout in a finger. I always knew a foot or toe, and you can have gout in a finger, but it's very specific looking. This is rheumatoid arthritis. And I know I've already been having osteoarthritis, but I need to tell my doctor about the rheumatoid. I looked it up and it is rheumatoid arthritis. The reason is when I was a teenager, I was diagnosed with JRA, which is juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, but it's been in remission since I was about 18. and it may not be in remission anymore. So I am going to tell, because that poor finger, it's having a rough time and it gets so sore. I find that compression gloves really do help. Just help with pain, because I can't. The problem I have with rheumatoid arthritis is I can't take NSAIDs, which are the non-steroidal um, inflammation stoppers. So I can't take those. Makes it a little hard. But yesterday I told Mark. Mark was so wonderful. It was hot here, and I worried about him, but he said it felt good. I think he went out and was working on trimming back bushes, getting stuff in shape, because we didn't do that this spring. We were busy. And so I cleaned the house while he did that. And then I said, I really would like my little vegetable garden. Last year, I was thinking, oh, don't spend much money and just get some inexpensive wooden little they're not even real stakes, just little thin wooden poles and some plastic mesh that put a garden together. Well, everything I planted, the rabbits ate, because we're living here, Wildlife Central. Today, my daughter went to leave and she had Polly, her big poodle, with her. I said, uh-oh, there's a deer in the side yard. The reason that was not good is because Polly would love to go after a deer. She wouldn't know what to do with it, but boy, that would be fun to chase it. And who knows where the deer would lead. So in this neighborhood, we have deer, fox. We have a fox, um, at least two red-shouldered hawks, raccoons, possums, chipmunks, squirrels, something that was swimming in the little pond across the street. I'm not sure what it was. It wasn't a duck or goose. We have a great blue heron in the pond. But with having that pond there, you would never, I never guessed how much wildlife that brings. So I told Mark yesterday, after I cleaned the house, I went out and sat on the swing. Even though it was hot, I was in the shade, and I brought some leftover peanuts out with me. And the squirrel got within 3 feet of me because I would scatter peanuts down. Now the chickens came running like, "Oh, you're giving someone a treat. We want our treat." And but it was so much fun. There was a this year's baby squirrel who's about this. The body is about this long, and they're the ones that you can kind of get used to you, because they're too young to understand that, oh, that's a person. That might not be a good thing. But I sat real quietly and just threw peanuts out and talked soothingly to it. And I would like, it's always been my dream to get the chipmunks and squirrels to come close to me. That might have its own worries, but I read the cutest article last night in the Washington Post about a woman in Texas where it was really hot and there was a drought last year. And she left a battery fan going on her front porch. And the next morning she saw it and a squirrel was laid out in front of it, just enjoying that cool breeze. So now she has a whole spa area for them, and she freezes treats in ice cubes, and she gets all different kinds of food and things for them. And then manufacturers have sent her fans. She has 10 rechargeable fans now, and every morning she goes out there and sets up her squirrel spa, and I think that is so cute. Oh, yes, and I wanted to tell you, Laura, that is wonderful advice. I have silica gel beads, and I always put my silica gel beads in there. But good job. No, those are completely dry. There were a couple of the center of the peonies that were a little still damp, so I laid them on a plate for a few days until they were nice and dry. But you know, all those little gel packs that come in things and it says do not eat? I save those puppies because we use them for a lot of different things. But don't worry. Thank you for that reminder. And I will put, I'll probably put at least two of the silica gel packs in it. So that really helps. So, oh, I see somebody mentioned Jody's channel. What a great channel. She's so cute. What was she talking about the last show I watched? It was so funny. I was cracking up. And she's got that dry humor. And it was hilarious. I'm having so much fun because I feel like I'm really getting to know more about our Jody watching her channel. So I think that's so cute. So let's see who's here on Father's Day. Marsha or Marsha with the mostest. And Debbie, hi. And you're not, he's not your father. That's cute. But please tell Jim that we said happy Father's Day. And then, oh, that's cute. Your Sean has two sons and Dan has adopted a cat. That's wonderful. And let Terry know, Miss Jody, that we say happy Father's Day. This is so great to see you and Laura and Alberta. Kathy Klein, hi, darling. Mitty's here, yay. And Pat is here. Pat, I'm going to, I know that most of our group has seen the picture of you and Don dancing. That was so beautiful. I love that. So we'll be showing it during show and tell. But Pat was traveling all around. She must be exhausted by now. I don't know about you, but traveling and staying in other places, it wears me out. So, oh, let's see. I just was looking. Oh, that's great. It is good to see all of you. So then, oh, I have the cutest little, let me see if I can bring this up. And then there, you've probably seen it because I'm usually the last one that figures these cute little things out. But let me, it, this, this husband has earned so many husband points by doing this video for his wife, a parody of quilting. It is so cute. So, okay, I just made a copy of it and don't save. Okay, now let me bring it up and then I will turn the camera around and show you. And I will also, now let me see, enter. And I'm also going to give you, you can have it. Okay. So here we go. Let me bring you around. Let me turn off the lamp. Let me bring you so that you can see this cute, cute, cute. Oops, cute, cute, cute. Bring this back up. All right. Okay. Got it. And you've probably already seen it. And I'm sorry if you already have, but it is so darn cute. Oh, you know what? I'm not sure you'll be able to hear it. He's singing that song from Australia, "I Would Walk 500 Miles." I don't know if it will allow. Oh, I'm not sure if it will allow it. But anyway, this young fellow is so cute, but he, instead of being 500 miles, it's 500 yards, and, oh, he got big points for this, I'm sure. So, let me see. I don't think if I turn the sound up, you can hear it, but let's see. So I thought y'all might get a kick out of that. So I have, let me see. So y'all will have to go and check that out. I just thought that was so cute. Okay, let me get everything back on. All right. Yay. And bring this down. So, yeah, if only I had thousands to put into a camera, I wouldn't have to turn the camera around. But you know what? It works for me, and I love what I'm doing. And I've got my $300 little camera. I'm happy. So, but anyway, I don't know if you could hear any of that. Oh, that's cute. I love that. Y'all are so cute. Oh, you see the baskets of fabric? Yes. Because I started out the other day and I had the nice little white foam board trays that I made. Soon realized, I was going to need heavy duty. So, this is just my blues. You can tell I use. Now some of you say, "Well, I see some green in there." That got put in the wrong place. But most of this, whoops, most of this is blue. I stacked them on each other and put them in a tote to bring them down so they got a little bit confused. But I'll be showing you what are we going to do with all of those. I put another quilt up. That's a quilt from a mystery quilt, and I love that one. I love those bright colors. Also, Mark brought cut when he was working in the side yard. He cut that. That is an oak leaf hydrangea, and he said it was the prettiest thing, and so he cut it to bring it in to me. And the leaves are huge. But isn't that just beautiful? So I was like, I gotta bring it down. I want to show the ladies. So let me see. I think that's it. The flower, then that quilt, which was from a mystery quilt. I was really involved in mystery quilts in the 2000s, mid 2000s to 2010 or so. Oops, hold on. I just realized this wasn't plugged in. So, okay, now it's plugged in. I didn't want to disappear on y'all. Okay, so, but I learned so much from doing mystery quilts. For me, and Billy Lauder, who's now passed, but she was a real big influence in starting mystery quilts. And there's Mary Mayhem, who I love also. But I must have made about 20 mystery quilts. And the reason it was so good for me is it slowed me down. I only worried about the step that I was on because I had no idea how it was going to turn out, what was going to happen. And I learned to trust myself, and I learned to be a little more careful in how I work. So that was a very good thing. So that's why I love showing you my mystery quilts. All right. Last week we pulled out UFO number 5. So just so you know that now on your list of 12, there's 2, number 12, number 11, number 3, and number 5. And in July, we'll pull another number. I've done one of them. Miss Bonnie is probably rolling along. So, okay, just a reminder. Oh, I was telling you about ordering supplies. Mark has gone to get them. I this time got some guard light metal, but still a T-post. Got 12 T-posts, got a roll of rabbit-proof garden wire, and we're going to make an official garden, because last year everything I planted, including Asiatic lilies, were eaten by the rabbits. And we talked about it, and he said, "Yeah, don't be so careful of being cheap that you end up it's not worth it and it's not fun because something eats everything." So that's what we're getting ready, and I will take pictures as we work on it. All right, do not forget that July 15th through 19th, we're having a free quilting class. You can invite your friends. And we're going to do the class for 4 hours every day, Monday through Friday. We're going to be live on a Zoom type setting called Jitsi, and you don't have to type. You can talk and we can hear each other. And what we're going to be working on is storm at sea. And I'm going to show you several different ways that you can do that. Oh no, the rabbits ate half of your sunflowers. They're real cute until they eat all your goodies. So, oh no. Oh, Mary's still working on her number one UFO. Good. Oh, that's why. Hand stitching. Yep, I understand that. So, but put down somewhere. Now let's say you're busy during the day, because I'm probably going to do it between 11 and 3 each day, or 12 and 4, and that's Eastern time. So just subtract your time back from that. But let's say you live outside the US and you're sleeping during that time. Don't worry, because if you're a member of our group, we'll give you the private link so that you can watch the videos replay of that day's class anytime you want. So we're gonna what I do is I record them and put them in a private setting. And the reason I do that is because I want people to feel comfortable to come in. You can come in, chat with us in your pajamas. You don't have to have makeup or hair or anything. And also, I want you to feel free to chat and not worry about saying something you shouldn't say on uh, live or forever videos. So that's why if I know who you are, you belong to our group, I'll give you the private link, and then you can sew when it's convenient for you. All right. So now, let's talk about this color wash stuff. It is tricky. And I found, I printed out some graph paper, and I was trying an idea out. Pardon me, trying an idea out, but I don't think I like this. When we're looking at these color wash quilts, last week I read you off. Oh, did I ever put this on the site? I might have forgotten to put it on the site. If it's not on the site, I'll make sure to put it on tonight. Um, I'm just trying to remember. I don't remember. But I was looking at all different kinds. Some people consider that a color wash. And it's very striking to have that bright center color, and then it gets darker towards the outside. Some people consider this the color wash. This was very popular back in 2015, 2016. I just consider that a scrappy quilt. This is the color wash that I saw Terry, what's her name? Terry Rowland. And this is one I saw her do. Whoops, let me try to keep my arm still. Oh, it's the fan. The fan's blowing the paper. I love this color wash because she takes and puts a center, which really gives it a nice extra pop. And then she groups the colors to kind of get a feeling going. So this is where I have a problem. I see a quilt that I love, but I want to make it my own. Sometimes in making it my own, I miss the very things that I loved about it. I messed that up. So what I did, and I'll show you this when we do show and tell, but what I did was went back to all of the inspiration photos that I had saved in a folder of Colorwash quilts, and I made a new subfolder and pulled the ones that I really liked the best. Because I said to myself, I'm not sure this is going to give me the look I want. I don't think it looks enough like a progression. So I printed out, and you can go online, free printable graph paper. I printed out this as 1/2 inch, but it made those were just too big. And so then I went back and printed out some 1/4 inch. And then I printed the color wash quilt that knocked my socks off. And that is this one. Let me see I'm trying to remember which way it goes. I think it goes this way. But isn't that beautiful? Now, that doesn't have the same block with a distinct center. So but that movement is gorgeous. I know there are so many variations. So I think what we're going to have to call ours is the Terry Rowland color wash quilt. And I want to make sure that Terry Rowland gets the credit, because even though I first saw it on Kate Jackson's The Last Homely House, she referenced Terry, and I went to see Terry, and Terry has done classes and done so many different, she's done a good amount of her style. And the difference, like I said, is that there's a distinctive center patch. Now, in doing color wash, what I'm looking for is to be able to sit and relax and mindlessly sew. So much in life, we have to concentrate and replicate and follow directions and on and on and on. What I want to do is just mindless sewing. So I like the way Terry Rowland did a kind of a wonky log cabin where she just started sewing different pieces of fabric. Now, she has some quilts that I do like that have one fabric except for that distinctive center. But I like the fact that this is going to make a really sparkly quilt. Maybe after I make it this way, I'll want to go back and use just one fabric in a center. But for right now, I like this. And what I'm planning on doing, getting my scraps and just sewing them however they fit. Some of them are tiny, some of them are bigger. Then once I know my block is bigger than 4.5 inches, I will use my 4.5 inch ruler and I will trim them to 4.5 inches. I don't want 3.5 inches. I thought about it, but 3.5 inches is a little too fiddly for me. 4.5 is something I can relax more. Yeah, making it your own without losing. I I I I I think I mess up more than I'm successful at making my own. But this year when I did the Alaska quilt and I did it all in my teals and blues and all that, I think I scored big on that one. I've got to finish. It's all quilted, I think, but I think I need to finish just a couple little things so you can see that again, because I'm really proud of that. So now, this time I told you that I really had to think about this because I want to do a Terry Rowland style quilt. I want to have the colors migrate across the quilt. To me, I don't want it too random. I want the colors grouped. So I was looking through my multicolored fabrics because I was trying to think, I want it to be my own. So I was thinking, what can I do to that center? Because that center is kind of the could be a constant. And I noticed in Terry Rowland style quilts, if you have light color fabric for the block, people always put, or Terry puts, a dark center so it pops. If it's a dark block, she puts a light center. So what I did is I looked at all my fabric and thought, is there a design on any of my fabrics that would make a cool center color? And then I thought, well, I don't want them all the same. First, I thought I wanted them all the same color, like make red centers for all the blocks. But I like the way the dark and the light. I like it having some variation the way Terry did. So then I looked last night. I was watching Midsummer Murders, and so I got this fabric because it has. I don't think it has a red, but it's got a dark pink. It's got pink and it's got orange and yellow and green and blue and purple. So it's got all the rainbow colors except bright red. And so what I did is I cut out a bunch of hearts and with a little bit of seam allowance, because since I'm doing kind of a crazy version of a log cabin, I can kind of make this whatever shape I need to. So I've got some that are blue, some that have a lot of purple, some that have pink, yellow, and green. So, and most of them I did smaller than this, but I've got all of these centers here. And what I'm going to do is when I get ready to work, not maybe this moment, but later on, I'm going to stack the different hearts by their colorway. And that way, if I'm working on a nice dark orange, I can find the lighter, like the yellow, something like that. Or I can also do complementary colors. So if I'm making an orange block, anybody know what would be the complementary color that I could do a center for this orange block? Anybody know what the complementary color to orange is? Yes, good job, Laura. Blue is the complementary color. Now, for some of you saying, I don't know what complementary is and I don't care, that's all right. I'll tell you. The complementary color, it's when I was looking to see my color wheel. I try to keep everything around, but the complementary color is the color opposite on the color wheel. So if blue is right here, when you go across, you get orange. And with red, you go, whoops, across, you get green, yellow, and purple. And these are colors. Well, if it's the color right beside it, it could be an analogous color, which kind of stays right here. It can, you can get a tertiary where you pick like yellow and blue and red because they're equally spaced on the color wheel. So, yep. And so anyway, that I just thought this might work. I might make a couple blocks and go, never mind. So let me show you. Oh, I've got two more things to show you too. But here is my basket of yellows and oranges, because these are all the baskets that I could free up. Here is red and pink, and here is purple. So I hope it looks like a rainbow threw up on my table. And all right, so here they are. Now, I don't have room for all of them, but let's say I'm going to do a purple blot. So I have my ruler handy, and then let me get a cutting mat and a cutter. All right, got my rotary cutter. Let's make a purple blot. Now, to make this purple block, I want something dramatic. Oh, this is one of my scraps. Let me put this in the orange pile. Okay. To make this purple block, I want a yellow center because that's the complementary color. And boy, will that look great. Okay. So I'm going to start with this as my center. Let me get this close. Okay. So now I've got this for the center. I don't know if the black is going to look good or bad, but okay. I'm going to, here's a good medium. I'm going to take this and I'm going to stitch that. I changed my thread in here. Now I have to thread the needle. There we go. I love this old girl. I have had this girl probably 17 years, 18 years. I love this. All right. I'm so glad I didn't sell her. Now I'm going to come in here. Now I'm going to reduce my stitch length because when you're sewing on a little piece, I'm going to bring it down to 19, 1.9. All right. And I don't need an actual quarter-inch seam allowance. I'm dropping it back down to about a eighth of an inch. Let's see how that does. Come on. Whoops. All right. And then I'm just going to use my fingernail and press this. Okay. Then I'm going to come with another purple and stitch it this way. And I haven't decided how many pieces I want in each block. I'm kind of going to make it up as I go. All right. Okay, now got that. Let's put something on this side. I'll go with a light color because remember, don't forget about solids. We need to have a solid in every block so that we give a place for our eye to rest. So here we go. And then, come on. For some reason, my automatic thread cutter button is getting wonky. Okay. Oh, here's a cool color. And I like varying because, purples can all be very different. So now I'm going to put this here. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is start cutting some of these scraps off because it will give me an idea of where I want to go next. So I think, let me come in here, and I'm not going to cut the line straight. Whoops, sorry, I bumped the camera. I'm not going to cut the line straight because I want it to be a little wonky. So I'm going to come across here with this one. These scissors need to be sharpened again, giving me a little trouble. All right. Then I'm going to come across this way. And if I don't get a perfectly straight line, I will straighten it when it comes time to add another piece of fabric. All right. Okay. Now, let me do something really quickly. Let me bring my iron closer. And so even though I wanted you to see all of my different baskets of color, I'm only working with one basket at a time. But the caveat for that is that when you're getting ready to butt like a red up to a yellow, start introducing yellow to the red blocks early. And then when you get to the yellow, start the yellow blocks, the first couple, add a few pieces of red. All right. So here's what I've got now. I'm going to grab another scrap. This is a cute one. I'm so glad I bought a woman named Nancy who does our retreats now. I bought a basket of her, or bag, a big bag of her scraps for $5. I'm so glad I did. And because now that I'm doing a scrap quilt, that's really helped. And some people look for good deals when you belong to groups because some people would rather not have the scraps build up and they will sell them for pretty good prices. In fact, I know one time Jody paid for shipping and I sent her a huge bag of scraps and I was amazed what she got out of those scraps. She really did a good job. All right, so this time I'm going to go ahead and cut it off across here. All right, now let's see. Here's my 4.5-inch ruler, so I need some more on it. And I know I don't need all of this, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that off. Okay. Oh, well, I got a lot of stars. Here's a little flower. All right, I'm going to put this going down this side. And see where the side kind of juts out here? I'm not worried about that. I'm just going to cut straight down. So straight down. All right. Come on. Good job. Good job. Let me, right here, I have a wooden, because I don't want to keep reaching for the iron every time. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut this here and cut this here. All right. Now you can do it any way you want. Um you can cut the piece up smaller before you sew it. You can do it as you go, like I'm doing with this one. These are scraps, and you don't have to apologize for using them any way you want. All right, now I'm going to give this a good iron because I think it's going to be time. Let me see if I've got enough here. Ooh, I think I'm going to need to add one more piece. So I'm going to, this is on a curved line. I'm going to continue that curve with this one and make this big. Then I'm going to come in and get one more piece, and this is going to go right here. The nice thing about batiks, let me give this a quick iron because I don't want that fabric to in any way bunch up or get gathered up somehow under there. And now I will sew this right here. Oops, oops. Got my thread tangled. Hold on. Okay. And my thread. There we go. Just had to pull it to get a fresh end off of it. All right, here we go. My bobbin might be a little tangled, but let me see if it'll let me sew this. Oops, nope. When I hear that it's acting up, I would much rather fix it than undo the mess. There we go. When I did the thread cutting, a little piece of thread remained. And all right. All right. And now we'll start fresh. Here we go. On. All right. This happens because I didn't have a leader or an ender. And so, oops, it's done it again. Hold on. Oh, no, I know why this happened. Can anyone guess what my machine did? The thread popped out of the, what do you call this thing? Position number 6. The thing that goes up and down that helps create the tension, and so it jumped that loop. And this is something it does once in a while. It's always done it. It's just a little flaw in the system. I should have looked though. With anytime when you have bobbin problems, first double check that your thread didn't come out of. I don't know if it's called it's not a looper. I forgot, but it's the part that really goes up and down on the front of your machine. Okay. All right. Now one more iron. Looks good. Looks good. It's going to be fun to make these different colors because I mean this is going to be a lot of fun to make. So now let me move this basket over just a wee bit. Let me put this on here. Let's oh, I still need one more color. All right. I'm going to put this one up here. This already, I'm enjoying it because I love the randomness, just picking a fabric, making it work. I love that it looks like a great fest. I love the color. Let me do my last ironing. Okay. Here we are. Now I know it will fit. So I'm going to place this, and I get to decide how I want this to look. Do I want the heart skewed? Do I want it straight on? Do I want it near the top? Do I want it near the bottom? that's going to be part of my design choice. All right. So it's a little bit higher than the middle. And that's what I want because I want to make sure anybody looking at this quilt knows I'm having fun and I'm, whoops, not stressing over this. My ruler started to move. All right. Now this block is going to be 4 inches finished. So you have to cut it at 4.5 to have seam allowances there. That. And the little tiny scraps just throw away, but everything else, unless it's tiny, tiny, like this, I think is too tiny. Anything, if it's 1/4 inch, there'll not be anything showing once you, even if you sew it with an 1/8 of an inch seam. So here is my first block for my Terry Rowland quilt. Now here is what I first did when I was thinking about doing this. And this one, I think I'm liking the hearts. I'm thinking having something uniform there is going to be pretty cool. So I don't know. What do you think? Anybody? Ah, oh. Anyway, I think I'm going to like that. So now I'm going to come back and sew after we do a couple other things, just because I want to make a few of these and see what you think. And y'all be thinking about what color scraps you want me to do next. And I have the 6 colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. All right, so now what I want to show you, let me just leave this here and I will bring you. Oh no, I was trying to grab it too fast. It's a temperamental little thing at times. All right, I grabbed some quilt supplies recently. I mean, I grabbed some craft supplies recently and I want to show you what I've got. Let me get this out of the way. I haven't done anything more on my inexpensive wood box. And this is the fabric back. It's a non-woven. I don't know if it's vinyl on top of a feltish back, but I love what it did to the box. So I'm going to um do a more embellishing on this, but I haven't had a chance yet. You know, I bought more of the EVA foam because I want to make some more of the fabric bowls using this EVA foam, which will slump in a 250-degree oven so I can make whatever cool shape bowl I want. I really enjoyed that. So that was one of the things I got. And then, you know, I love doing the dot mandala painting. So I got these very inexpensive little easels so I can make gifts of them by sticking the little 5-inch square frame in this nice little easel. So I'll move those over there. And then I got this just because it looked cool. It's supposed to be a summer sky with clouds in the sky, and I thought it looked so cool. It's just a little glass marble with some white material inside of it. I thought I got just because I liked it. Then I got some. These are handmade labels. Let's see. There it is, handmade. Let me bring my lamp further. Okay. See them now? Isn't that cool? I like the fact that I can have, when I make quilts or things for people, I can put a little, and then, oh, got some more of these made with love. These charms are very inexpensive, but can add a nice little touch to your quilt label or whatever else you're making. And then I got these little resin, they're plastic pieces to start making mosaics because it has been over 20 years or about 20 years since I did a mosaic. And I thought, let's try these little ones because I can do more complex pictures with them. And I was looking for a wooden piece of wood to use to make the mosaics. And I thought by the picture in this, I thought it had a little rim, but it doesn't. But I think I can still use it. I might try to get this painted label off before I actually try to stick down the mosaic pieces. But I've got that, and as I work on that, I will show you how that goes. And then the last thing I saw these marbled papers. I saw these marbled papers listed, and they were pretty inexpensive. And you might think, well, they're kind of tiny. Well, yes, they are, but I can still use them. And so, what I'm going to do is just show you. I'm going to get this ready while we do our show and tell. And then when I come back, the glue should be set enough that I will show you how to take this is just a 6x6, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and cut this down the middle. But if you wanted to, you could actually cut it into thirds even. But I like using junk mail for my paper beads. But sometimes you might want something that's a little more specific and very pretty. So now what let me see how thick this is just something from junk mail. Um, yeah, I think it's thick enough. I'm going to see. Normally, I put pretty paper at the end here. So you have all this to roll up. This time, I want, ooh, this is so pretty. So what I'm going to do, and I'm just using, this actually is one step up from school glue. The school glue is the cheapest. This is just a little nicer, and I like it because it sticks. It's a little thicker, but I got a big gallon of it because I go through this stuff. Okay, then I have to place this one on. So I estimate how long I need it. And I'm even saving this. That will make a bead right there. So, all right. So I've glued now, taken my junk mail, which is the thing I love using most. I hardly ever buy pretty paper. But since these were so inexpensive and so pretty, I thought, let's try what that would look like to make paper beads with something pretty like that. Normally I use ads and you can get some pretty like cards you send me that have a real pretty envelope. So now let me just move this stuff out of the way. All right. Okay. So that one 6x6 will make plenty of beads. Now I'm just going to sit this over here and let it dry. You can try to cut it up now, but it's with the glue wet, it will be a little soft. You don't want that. All right, now let's do show and tell, and then I'll show you about my paper bead. All right, let me come over here. And after we do show and tell and I show you that bead, then we'll go back to sewing these blocks. Okay. But it is fun. It is fun gathering my scraps together and remembering, oh, I remember where I used that fabric. That was a lot of fun. Okay, so now I'm going to go into our photos. See, and show and tell. Okay. Oh, I know what I wanted. Well, okay, I'll do that after. All right. So let's see. Alberta has been working on baby quilts. She's been a busy lady. And, she started working again on a quilt we did a couple years ago. And I'm really loving how it looks. This is another great example of a scrap quilt. That's a lot of fun. And then it won't let me, so let me. Here is a baby blanket. She made 2 baby blankets for friends. So let me see if I can get this a little larger. And I love it. She used Minky for the back, which when you look at that Minky on the border, I love that the little Minky dots give that border its own design. I love that. And here is the next one. Let me enlarge this one. This was another baby blanket with a Minky border. Isn't that cool what the Minky does on the front? I love that. And it's from here around the back of the quilt. That baby is going to love how soft that is. Okay, now let's see where we're going next. Miss Betty Meisner has been very busy, and here is a dahlia, and I think this must be out of her garden. But is that the most beautiful dahlia? And wouldn't that be pretty to do a portrait quilt of that dahlia? I call them portrait quilts now. It's when you posterize it, and like I did my dahlia blossom, you posterize it, and then it kind of you have color zones and light and dark zones. I love that. So I call it portrait quilt, even though it might be a flower or an animal. That was her color wash quilt a couple months ago. And then look at the wonderful hand embroidery she's doing. And you know what? This is a good time of year to do it because it's right warm to have a quilt on your lap. But you can do hand embroidery. I love what she did on that wing. That is so neat. And just to practice your hand embroidery stitches and make up new ones. And here is her color wash when she had added her wonderful butterflies on it. So thank you, Miss Betty. We love it. Now, Miss Bonnie, I'm going to have to check in with Miss Bonnie. I'll have to check her blog. I don't have some more recent pictures, but don't you love that LaFleur quilt? That and her black work here. Come on, black work. This is just amazing. Love it. All right. Now let's see what else. Yeah, we've seen Brenda Sharp's. Let me see. I'll show the moose, but I need to get some new photos. But is that moose incredible or what? I love it. She did a wonderful job on that. Okay. And then let's see. Debbie, what do I have? I don't have any new ones, but I will. This is always a winner. Look at the grandma fan. And I love the stair step placement of those blocks. Fantastic. Okay. I know during the summer people travel and do things more and they just don't have that kind of time. I understand. This is a picture. Oh, I meant to go to Dolores's site to download from her blog, but isn't that beautiful? Whoever made that quilt is really talented. And look how it almost makes it look like it's a piece of leather or canvas that it's on with all of the small stippling of the quilt. That's gorgeous. Just beautiful. All right. Now, who is next? Let's see. I've started on the cleanup of my rooms and I ended up buying a couple toolboxes from Home Depot because if you buy toolboxes from craft items, they're very for craft made for crafting and art, they're very expensive. But if you buy a toolbox from a big box store, you can probably get a good deal. So I'm working on that kind of stuff now. So here is her Bigfoot. I just love it. Here's her Loch Ness. And I love that she cut out the castle shape because it's in Scotland. Love it. And then, oh, this one's a little wee bit scary. This is the Mothman quilt. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? I'm going to have to ask her what this blue shape is, too. Look how she does the highlighting. So talented, Miss Jody. And then she was sent me a picture. She had a guest come to her home. And I don't know if you can see this or not, but do you see this little thing right here? Well, let me see if I can get it big enough to show you what that little thing right there is. Whoops, didn't quite, but let's see. That is a black snake, and it must be somehow in the garage door equipment, and there it's sticking out looking at them. So I have a feeling they kind of banged on things and got him to go somewhere else. Don't you think? That's not the kind of company I like to show up for dinner. And oh yeah, this is sweet. This is Joni's watercolor. Okay, let's see what else we have. Oh, Julie, our new member. And look at what she did. She bought one piece of fabric. This is all from one piece of fabric. It's from a black ombre. And look what she made out of that one piece of fabric. Isn't that beautiful? I would say she is quite the artist. Look at Betty Grable. Isn't that neat that she did the pinup girl? I love this. And the kiss. Look at that. Isn't that the coolest thing? I just love it. So Julie, we're so happy you're here with us. And keep sending more photos because we love them. Okay. Oh, Miss Mary's going to have to take some more pictures of her garden because we love flowers also. And here is portulaca. And I just learned the other day that there's some portulaca has the needle shape leaves. It's a succulent. And I realized I'd been buying purslane these years. And the difference between portulaca and purslane is purslane has flat, rounded leaves, and they're both related. They're in the succulent family, and so that made me think about it. But I just learned that the other day. It was something brand new because somehow I thought they were one and the same. And then I had to look them up. I love Miss Mary with her color wash watercolor quilt. Beautiful. And then let's see who's next. Let's see. Marsha. Here is cute. Now, are these Scottish colors? I'm not sure. But she did this cute little crocheted purse. That is wonderful. And then Marsha Hun sent some pictures She lives in the desert. And look at that cactus blooming. Isn't that beautiful? It is just as pretty as any kind of plant you could imagine anywhere. And in the desert, they have a short window of bloom and they just bloom furiously. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. And then she also has chickens, so she's done some chicken quilts. Isn't that the cutest? And I love these chicken magnets she made to stick on the door down there. Look at that. Ah, I love it. Okay, and look at this wonderful yo-yo quilt. Oh my goodness. She sent this because she was wondering, can you do a double wedding ring quilt out of yo-yos? I don't know. But look at that. That's pretty neat. I'm not a yo-yo person, so we're going to have to put her in touch with someone who knows more about yo-yos. Yo-yos are kind of, for me, are on that list of, oh, no, you don't. So let me see. I don't know if there's anything in here. Nope, I think, let me see. Nope, I don't think so. I haven't thought of gathering any. Oh, Melanie. Yes, Melanie, Melanie, Melanie. She's working on updating her sewing room. Now, Miss Melanie, I don't know if you remember, but Miss Melanie was a professional seamstress for many years and doing all different kinds of sewing and design. And she did embroidery. They had a professional embroidery machine. I mean, it was really a nice business. And she retired. So out went all the professional equipment to, I think, her daughter or daughter in law. And so then she covered up the room and decided she needed something fresh. So here is the old look. Here's the new color. And don't you love that color? I know I do. And here, more painting. I love this room. This is her basement. But boy, a daylight basement is wonderful. I love that. The nicest thing is when you're done sewing for the day, you just turn everything off and go upstairs. So that is fantastic. That's a beautiful room. And here's some more of that new color. And what she's waiting for now is she's going to take up the carpet and bring in some solid flooring. I don't know if it's going to be luxury vinyl or laminate or what, but I think she's going to love her new floor. Pardon me, tickle in my throat. But isn't that wonderful? And look, she's got like a sink, like a little bar top. She can have snacks and stuff down there. Oh, that is just wonderful. She's going to absolutely love having this space because now, instead of the pressure of work, it's going to be fun. And her and her husband are going to love their, because remember, he has learned to quilt and he's very good at it. He's got that engineer's mind looking at quilting. But I think they're going to absolutely love this. That was a tote she was working on. Okay. So I hope you liked those photos of Melanie. And I told her, please send new ones. Please, please. What is this new folder about? Oh, oh, I heard from, oh my goodness. Now, my brain don't fail me now. This is from B in England. And I heard from her because of the wedding. And thank you, Miss B. It was wonderful to hear from you. And this is a quilt she worked on of a castle not far from her. And isn't that lovely? So it was so good to hear from our B. Thank you, Miss B. I'm so glad I did save that picture. And oh, that's wonderful. Now, Patricia Fry, oh, you might get a little emotional here. She went to a niece's wedding and they taught everybody how to slow dance. And that is her and Don. And that is just absolutely lovely. Such a wonderful couple. Isn't that nice? They were the star of the show. I love it. Okay, glad you're back home safe and sound, and glad everybody was healthy enough to travel. And let me see, yes, I think we've gotten just about all. Whoops. Oops, I forgot to close some. Oh my goodness, I forgot to close a lot of them out. Okay, and I think there was a folder for Susan Smith. We've seen those all. So we will wait for some new ones. Let me see. I don't want her to feel left out. So I'll go back into show and tell. And I love her quilts. I love this. This is a bear paw and bears. So that's pretty exciting. So send me some new photos, everyone, if you can remember. And let me go back to this because, nope, this one. Okay. Now I'm going to show you where I want to show you the color wash rainbows. And then what I did is I was getting so overwhelmed, like Mary, said, it's like, what is what? So I said, okay, I need to kind of narrow down what I'm going to do because I was just overwhelmed with all the choices. So I put a picture in this album of all my favorites so that I could just stay focused on what it is I love about them and what I can do to add my touch. But the look of this, I love that. And this looks like one of those twisted kind of quilts, but I love the way it worked through the colors. I think it's so striking. This is the Terry Rowland style that I want us to work on. And if you notice, the light yellow has darker, brighter colors. Then the darker has the lighter colors, but they do mix it up. And this is by one of her students, I believe. And here is another one that I love. And I just love grouping of colors and then working its way across. So red to purple to yellow with a strip of white in between, which definitely brings that light in. The reason I was thinking of putting a heart in my quilt is because I've got the little centers that are the heart centers. So that's one of the reasons. That's the main reason I was thinking of doing a heart. I love this quilt because it's very dramatic and the quilting. Oh my goodness, look at the arms radiating out and they get tighter, they get looser. It's just so much, it's alive. That quilt is alive and the moving and wow. Now, I want all the colors in the rainbow, and this just has the red, orange, yellow, blue, and purple. It doesn't have green. And I think I want all my colors, but is that dramatic or what? And look how sometimes the colors spin out into the next color. Look down here. I mean, this is a wonderful quilt on so many levels. But you notice here the light colors don't always, but usually have something that shows up good. The dark colors have bright things, but I did notice there were a couple where it almost blended. but it works. All of that works. So I'm looking at these, deciding what do I like, what gets me excited. Oh, here's one more. Here's a rectangular color wash. This is a whole bunch of probably 2-inch blocks, 2.5 inch. But do you see how I love the light? I love the patches of color that kind of move you around. I don't personally want any brown in my quilt. I'm sticking with a rainbow. But when you do look at that brown, it gives it another layer of depth. So I've got to remember what the things that I see that I like, focus on how I can recreate that, and hopefully still um, have my own stamp. So, okay, here we go. Done with that. Back to y'all. And oh, actually, let me just come right down here and let's look at these paper blocks, right? All right. I mean, paper beads. Now, normally I like using all junk mail. So I brought these down just to show you what that looks like. And sometimes I don't feel like rolling them. I just feel like gluing them up and um, gluing them up and um, cutting them out, gluing them up, cutting them out. All right. But see, here is something yellow I found. And so I can make a bead out of that. And then this is American Express. And I thought, well, that looks cool. So I put that on that. So, it's just whatever junk mail I find that I like. But here is an inside of an envelope that says, please recycle this. So guess what? I'm recycling it. Um, then this came as a card. I don't even remember. I think it was like from Women Within or something. And oh, happy birthday. So I just put just enough on here to roll a bead. And I'll show you. I think one of the reasons I haven't been rolling a particular lot of them is because my hands are sore. But I stick it in the groove here and start rolling it. And where I'm different than some people, that some people wait till the very end to put their little bit of glue. I don't do that because I don't want to take a chance that the bead is ever going to like explode sideways out. I want a really stable bead that I know is not going to go anywhere. So now here you get, up till now it's been junk paper. Now you get the pretty paper and roll the bead. So, and then what I would do with this to make it look pretty is once it is dry, I just take my paper scissors and I trim it until it's even. And then I usually take markers or something and just color over the white to match. And okay, so then when you color the ends, then you've got a nice little bead. And then I take the triple thick and I put the triple thick on it, which gives it a nice glossy look. Now, let me bring this up. I bought a guillotine paper cutter, but honestly, for whatever reason, I like cutting by hand. I love using these snips that have the spring on them. So all I have to do is push down. See that spring? That brings the scissors back open. I love sitting watching TV and doing this. To me, this is my Zen time. But I just go along and decide. So I might do it an inch, I might do it a half an inch, whatever, and I just cut it straight up. So this, I'm going to show you now how you can use just a little bit of that beautiful paper and turn it into enough beads for a necklace. I'm going to use this. Well, let me see. Ooh, this one. I'm going to use this one. So this came from Jilly. This came from England, but there are so many paper bead rollers out there. Sadly, I broke my very favorite one, and unfortunately, it was bought out from the originator, and then um, they bought out the rights to it, and then they stopped making it and selling it. That bothers me. That really bothers me. They do more different kinds of stone beads and glass beads, and I think they didn't want the competition. I hate to say that, but you know, but you can't get them anymore. So there, and then pull it off. And if I cut a little more carefully, I wouldn't have to trim these up. But I love what I do. I love the process of it, so it works for me. So you just trim it up, and then I will take and with a marker color in the ends, then put the triple thick acrylic sealer on it, and I like to put about 3 coats, and this will look amazingly like a ceramic bead. So, isn't that cool? You're right, Laura. It does give it kind of a more organic, woodsy feel. So I just thought I would show you how you can take inexpensive paper, and they were, let me see, hold on 1 second, was 12 sheets for $1.78. So, maybe 15 cents worth of paper. You can turn it into quite a few beads. So now I'm going to move this out of the way. I had promised someone, I've been getting some comments from the bead making, and I said, "Oh, I need to start making. I need to make another um, paper bead video." So I will be thinking about that pretty soon. But you should see upstairs. Oh my goodness, I've got so many partially, cut out and glued, but not finished made up there that they've kind of spilled out. And some people have asked me, well, what do you do with them? Well, I keep thinking if I ever get them finished and they're pretty, maybe giving them away or selling them, and I just haven't done it yet. So I would just say that's an idea in progress. And these snips stay with it because I do all my cutting of paper with those. So let me put these away now. And then let me see. I am going to give you all the choice of what color to make my next bead. So I have red, I have green, blue, yellow, orange, or purple. So, what color would you like to see? Did I say bead? I mean block. I mean color wash block. So, what have I ever wrapped wire around beads? You know what? I just had one of those here. What did I do with it? I have often made what I call boho beads. where you put them all on a strip and you can wrap wire, you can bead along them, all kinds. There's so much you can do with them. Okay, Quilt Squirrel says orange, so we're going to go with orange. Thank you, Miss Jody. All right, so let me see. Now, a color like this is great when you're transitioning from orange to yellow because it has both. Or orange to green or yellow to green or whatever. So I'm going to pull out some interesting oranges. Here's a nice light one. Ooh, here's a nice Stonehenge kind of one. Pretty, pretty. All right. Okay. And I like using a wide variety of oranges because I feel like it gives more depth to the quilt. All right. So let me get my iron going. I was trying to think about now that I've got the scraps gathered. A lot of them have been shoved in plastic bags, so they're very wrinkled. And I thought, should I iron all my scraps first? And I said, heck no. And let me tell you my reasoning. If I sat down to iron all of these bins, 5 bins full of scraps, I'd never get the quilt made. So it's like I will iron them as I use that color. Now, with orange, let's pick a nice blue for the center. Because right now I'm enjoying this whole complementary thing. All right, so I'm just going to give these fabrics just a light, and you don't even have to do the whole thing because you're just going to use a piece of it. So give this a little iron because I want it. These are good enough as it is, but some of them, oh, I love the smell of an iron on that fabric. I remember ironing my father's shirts. My mother taught me as, oh gosh, a 10-year-old how to iron my dad's shirts. And we had the little Coke bottle with the little sprinkler head on it. Oh, yes, I remember all of that. All right, so here we go. Now turn y'all over here. Whoops. Here we go. All right. Okay. Now let me see if I can. Yeah, okay. Well, not quite that much. All right. So, first thing I'm going to do, grab my little blue heart. That's a little bright. Let me come in with more of a neutral. These right sides together. I'll put this along the top. I'm going to put this a little crooked. I want to start it out. Start it out a little more random. Okay. And just take. Y'all didn't notice that I had my rotary cutter blades open. You didn't notice that. Okay. So here we go. This time, I might try to cut them off as I go. Let's see. Okay. I'm still figuring out how to do this. All right. Here's the ironed part. Now, let's put this way. Okay. Oh, I just noticed this. Oh, that's cute. I used to always put fobs, or I still do, on my scissors when I take them to class so I can identify that, yes, that truly is my scissor. Because you might be in the class with 6 other people that have your same exact scissor. All right. It's here. Yeah, I kind of like trimming as I go. This is kind of nice. Makes it just a wee bit easier. All right. And my wooden iron. Right. You know what? I don't think I need it to go out past the edge. These are the scissors that I tried to cut a twist tie with. Bad girl. Is Lisa here? Hi, Miss Lisa. So tickled to see you. Holy scrap. You're so cute, Marcia. You crack me up. Okay, so now let's try something a little more moody here and put this brown on. Lisa, we're so happy to see you, this talented girl. Mark asked me the other day, he said, well, are you going to go to any of your activities this year? I said, I know one for sure I'm going to go to, and that's the Myrtle Beach Quilt Party. I love that thing. If any of you are close enough to go to the Myrtle Beach Quilt Party, look for their website by the same name and sign up. Um, but it's myrtlebeachquiltparty.com, I think, and it may just be the initials. Let me see. This one, I'm going to save. This one, I'm not. Okay, I'm going to come in now with this unusual color. This is an ombre. Yeah, I remember that well. Neat. All right. All right. I like having that bucket right there so that I can just throw the scraps back into the bucket as I finish with them. Because I'm only going to use one fabric per block. I let me get a drink. Oh, one of my I meant to grab one of my butterfly weed flowers outside. Oh my gosh, it's just blooming beautifully right now. Oops. Somehow I didn't quite get this to the edge. So let me trim that little thread, pull it back apart, finish sewing that. But you would like, oh, that's right. You're so poor thing. That has got to be so hard. Oh, yeah. I don't know if y'all remember that our dear Lisa completely tore her rotor cuff. That is serious. Oh gosh. So, I'm sorry, sweetheart. Okay, so now put these back in, and isn't this the cutest fabric? I love it. That's the nicest thing too, when you stop and think about it, the nicest thing about um getting buying some or being given someone's scraps is you'll find fabrics that you weren't would not have bought. No. Oh, and this coming up Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, Pineapple Fabrics is having their summer sale. Now, I'm not sure if they're going to continue. I'm hoping they will. They will continue having their sales because they have fully merged with Keepsake Fabric. So I know she says for the most part they, you know, their their keepsake or no pineapple packs they call them, which are a very generous, larger than a fat quarter, and they're going to keep having those. All right, let's see. Let's check out. Okay, here we go. I'm not sure I'm going to go to the sale. Honestly, I'm just not into buying fabric lately. What's that about? So I feel like I really want to use up a good amount. Whoops, I'm going to move this over a little bit. So I want to get some of this pretty pink dots, orange dots on the pink background. So I'm moving that over a touch. Okay. Let's see. Mm, right. Now I got a touch of that pretty fabric. I think I need to sharpen my blade. So I will always, every time I look at these little heart centers, I'm going to remember the Midsummer Murders episode last night because I was cutting them while I was watching it. I don't know if y'all do the same thing that, okay, here it is. All right, so now I have an orange and a purple. And look how the orange really has a lot of different tones. This is where the orange met the purple in that ombre. And here was my blue, even though it doesn't have a heart in the center, but I can always applique one on so I can keep this block too. But there I have three of the blocks. So what do you think? Do you think that the hearts as the center might work? I don't know. It still gives different colors. This is a light color on a darker. This you would normally think of it as being a light, but it's kind of got a little bit of everything. But I think this was having all the different fabrics. It's going to make it sparkle. What do you think? Hmm. So I'm feeling so bad for Miss Lisa. She's the sweetest thing. I really like her. And boy, it's going to be hard to go camping, maybe. I don't know. Unless she's got somebody who can set it all up for her and she can rest. But Mark and I went camping on our first date. And the day before we were supposed to leave, I ruptured my Achilles tendon. But the ridiculous male emergency room doctor said, "Oh, you didn't rupture your Achilles tendon." It's too strong to rupture. Well, guess what? It was ruptured. And I walked around on it for 3 weeks. And when I went to my doctor, he was like, "Oh my God, don't move. You have ruptured it." So, what if, okay, I'm going to give you a choice of colors now. I have time to make one more: green, yellow, or red. Who can pick out the color of the next block? Green, red, or yellow? Oh, she hurt it by carrying too much and then fell on top of that. Oh, honey, I'm sorry. Red. Lisa zoomed right in on red. All righty. Now, and if we're going to stick with the color theme, then let me find a green heart. There's it's a yellow and green one. I think that'll look really cool. Here's another one. I like how much green that one's showing. Oh. All right. Here we go. This is fun. I wish we were all here together. This would be so much fun because it's just silly sewing, which boy, we can use some silly sewing for sure, right? So I sew that and then Lisa, I hope you get your surgery soon and can be well on the way to being mended, hon. That's got to be so tough. Right, now I'll pick out another one. Whoops, I want red. Oh, this is cool. I must have used this fabric for our curved series. Okay, I'll put this right here. I hated when I loved cutting out these hearts, but I hated ruining other hearts because I needed to have a seam allowance around them, so I would have to cut into the others. But honestly, I soon realized I don't have to have a perfect size square or a perfect quarter of an inch. I just have to have something close to it. Oh, this is pretty. I'm going to put this over here. This one might come out a little bit more square than the other one, but I think that would be good to see how that comes out too. All right, so now some people might want to iron open their seams. I don't, but if you want to iron them open so that, like, right here, maybe you think it would lay flatter, then go right ahead. But this is supposed to be about my fun, so I don't. I do not, will not on a boat, in a moat. Sam, I am. Okay. Right, here's a good red. Right, I'll put this along the bottom. Oh, that's interesting. I think she must have been making a Christmas quilt having that green strip right on this red. All right. Okay. See how fast these work up, especially if you don't fret over what color to choose. becomes pretty easy then. I'll cut that at a little bit of an angle just so I can put a slightly wonky piece on it. Okay, I'm going to give this a quick little iron. Sometimes if you find some of the fabrics are a little stiff and it causes it to want to be slightly wonky, then go ahead, have your iron standing by and give it a good little press. Okay. Here, I guess. Where, you know what? I want something lighter. I'm getting a little dark there. Here's a good one. Remember what I said about trying to keep, in fact, I've almost got a solid here, but have have some lights. Don't do all dark blacks if you can help it, just because it will give it some sparkle. I used to think that they didn't have such a thing as a light red because wouldn't that be pink? But if they have a red that has a lot of white or light or pink in it, it can read that way. Now, cut this off here. I'm going to cut this here. All right, let's find another one. Now, I could mix in pinks, but I don't know if I want to do that yet. I don't know. Let me see. I would love to find maybe another orangey red. Ooh, now look at this. This will shake it up just a little. I think I'm going to run this along this side. Okay. And some of the blocks I'll probably add some pink to it. But because that's why I put it in there. Okay. Let's see. I think we're supposed to get some of the rain that came up from the tropical depression in Florida. This is kind of cool. I like that. That gives it a little. Oh, this would be really good. Look at this. So, let me see. Let me see how the 4.5 inches is looking. Mostly top or bottom. So I'm going to put this, oh, I guess on here. You know what? I'm going to put this on crooked. I think it was looking too straight. So all I have to do is put that on at an angle, stitch it, and then when I trim it, it'll be just what I want. Right? All right. All right. So now let me give it a quick little iron before I cut it because I want the blocks to lay as flat as I can. Now, one thing I could do is after I make the block and cut it out, I could always starch it. So if I want it just a little bit more, I'm going to do something. I'm going I'm going to cut the bottom of this, but I need to add another piece to the side to get a good, well, okay. I need to add another piece to the side here to be able to get a good solid. Oh, this would be, well, whoops. Or is that going to be that's probably too dark. Mm-hmm. This strip right here will give me just what I need. All right. And I like the idea of having it have a little feeling of a crumb block too. Okay. Let me get the regular iron real quick. Okay. Now let me cut it. That that's pretty cool. All in all, I'm liking the look of the individual blocks. And what I'm going to do is make a bunch of each color block. I'm going to do red, I'm going to do orange, yellow, and then when I start laying them out on the design wall, that's when I'll know how I'm going to lay out the colors, and I can start making adding, what's going to be the neighboring color. That hopefully that makes some sense. So I won't make that decision on what to add, what colors to add, until I have enough of the single color blocks. And that way I can start trying to figure out how I'm going to place them. You know what? I've got this upside down. Let me see if it was moving too much. So let me try this. I want to make sure that I do them the right size, nice and neat and tidy, so that it's going to make them much easier to put together. I want to keep this project easy from beginning to end and tidy from beginning to end. All right. So here is our red block. So what are you thinking? Oh, could you hear? Oh, I just drank some more. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sweetie. All right. So do you like the log cabin style? It makes it so simple and easy to do. And if you want them more wonky, you can make them more wonky. The first block I did, I tried to keep pretty wonky. So then when we get enough of these different blocks, I will go back to my plan of how am I going to put them together. I've got my craft paper, and let me bring these over. So far, this is the design I like best. And these are those twister blocks, but I think I can still do it. Now, here's my graph paper, printed it out free online. First, I thought, well, since I'm doing the hearts in the middle, I'll do a color wash, a swirl that comes out to be a heart. But then when I colored this in, I don't know, I didn't like it. So now I'm going back and kind of looking, what do I like best and how can I make it like that? So I love the moodiness of this. Mine was looking a little bit childish or simplistic. I like the moodiness of this. So all my dark blue would go here, then light blue, and then see how they go to like a teal. So go into that. You have dark blue, you have dark green, but a few light greens where it comes to the yellow. So what she did is she said, okay, I've got green here, yellow there. Start putting some lime colors in. And that way it can kind of transition. And then here is dark red, but where it starts to transition into the orange or the pink, then she starts adding those colors in there. Same as here. The light swatch, when she goes down to the purples, she adds some lavenders. So it's very well thought out. And what I should do is get a design wall, start putting my darks, the edges, and then as I move in, I'll know what colors to add. That's a good idea, Laura. I think I was seeing the crayon and going, oh, God, it's not right. And I thought I just don't want to mess it up. Because this is going to be a lot of, it's going to be a fun work, but a lot of work. Because I have an idea I'm going to have about 100 of these blocks. I don't know. So I will. I'm going to give that a shot, Laura. Thank you so much for that. So this is today. I'm going to keep working on them. And then I'm going to take my temporary design wall that mystery quilt is on. I'm going to use that. And as I make more and more of the blocks, I'm going to put them on that and then start seeing how I'm going to make it work. But as you can see, it's a very different style for me. Our Jody loves scrappy quilts. I am a I'm afraid of scrappy quilts. Let's just put it that way. Because it's like, oh, it's complex and I I can never figure what I didn't mean to turn that all the way off. I can never figure out what scrap color should go next to others. And I'll never forget that Alex Anderson had this paper bag. You put your scraps in your paper bag, and whatever you pull out is the one that you have to use. And I'm like, I don't think so. And I can't give up that desperate need to control. So let me grab this if I can reach it. I couldn't believe when Mark walked in from the yard with this. Look how big it is. This is an oak leaf hydrangea. See those incredible leaves? But isn't this something? Look at that. So I asked him if he could bring it downstairs for me because I said, oh my gosh, that thing is so beautiful. So I dearly, dearly love it. Just, I'm going to break off the end because I notice it's getting a wee bit droopy. Um, and that is just so beautiful. And then I'm going to let it dry and while it's in water, just when it says I'm done trying, it'll start to dry out. And the thing about hydrangeas is they tend to change color as they age. So it'll probably get to be a pinky, creamy color. And I'll save that too. It doesn't look real. I know it doesn't. It when he brought it in, I was like, "Oh my God, that's incredible!" I knew what it was because I knew they were blooming over there and they were amazing. But that just looks so exotic. We have a Polonia, a volunteer. They're kind of weed trees in America, but the Japanese love them. The wood, you can do so much with it. And when you cut the stems, they're hollow. So, you can use them for different things. And what we do is every year we chop it off ground level every fall before winter. Then every year it comes back from the roots and the leaves are this big. They're amazing. So I'll have to bring one in to show you. And but we love it. We love polonias. They're cool. And if you let it go ahead and grow normally, the leaves are smaller and it will put out velvety purple flowers in the spring, late spring. So, all right, everybody. I think I'm about done. Anything else? Anything else that you want to ask or say? I know I've got some little pictures that I need to edit to show you from the get together with my kids at the lake. So I will be getting those for you. But I hope you understood what I was talking about today and that you will give some of these things a try. And thank you for spending this time with me. I cannot thank you enough. And y'all are the best. So I'm going to clean up around here. I told Mark I got to get this room finished. I've started cleaning, but I've got to finish it. So cross your fingers. I have a good week with this room. Don't forget our Art Quilt Thursday, where we're working on our Sunset Cowboy in all black and white. And I'm hoping to get quite a bit of progress done on that this week also. And I'm putting my compression glove because that finger is hurting. So I think I'm going to go rest it. Here I'm whining when poor Miss Lisa has ruptured her rotor cuff. I am so sorry, sweetie pie. Well, I will see you Thursday. Yeah, Marcia, you're such a sweetheart. I will see you all Thursday if you want to see what's going on in Art Quilt Thursday. And the next Sunday, we'll keep doing this, but we'll have something else interesting for you to see. I've been wanting to paint fabric, so maybe we'll see. All right, everybody, have a great week. Stay dry, stay cool, and stay creative. Send me your photos. Let me quickly just type in for if any of you are not used to our site or are new here, our time. Whoops, hold on. I know I can do this. The little dogs are playing. I'm sorry the table's blocking the view, but they're having such fun. It's like they're wrestling. Our time to quilt at pwc.com. There we go. Take good care. Bye bye, everyone. Y'all are the best. Bye bye.